guys, Tony here, and in this video we're going to do a review of the brand new VAVA CHROMA 4K laser TV, so stay tuned. Righto guys, so recently I did a reveal video of the VAVA CHROMA which covered off some of the features and the specs, but in this video I'm going to show you all I possibly can, including answering the questions that I've received from you guys. So check the chapter markers in the video if you want to take a look at the frequently asked questions and also the other sections in this video, including the installation, the dimensions, placement for the different size screens, some noise measurements, and also what I get asked the most, and that is how it looks under various lighting conditions. Now, if you're into home theater videos, audio and video products like this VAVA projector, make sure you hit the subscribe button and tick the little bell so that you don't miss my future videos. So for this review, I will be using my upstairs dedicated ultra short throw setup, which includes a KRIX 5.2 speaker setup and a VAVA ALR 100-inch screen, which is specially made for ejecting ambient light. I did receive the 120-inch screen, however I was unable to get it assembled and installed in time for this full review, so stay tuned for that video, it is coming. I have discussed the specs of the projector in my other video, but to quickly cover off the main things here, we have a triple laser light source which eliminates the need for a color wheel and support for Rec 2020, which allows for greater color accuracy and performance. I will cover off some more of these specs later in the video and the FAQ, and I'll also give my verdict on whether or not I think it's worth buying. I would like to thank VAVA for sending me this pre-production unit in for review and for being very forthcoming with answering all of my email questions so that I could get as much information as possible together to help you guys make an informed decision on whether or not to buy one. So when it comes to installation, I have my screen at the correct height to accept a 100-inch projection from the CHROMA. Ultimately, you will need to take a lot of time and fine-tune adjustments, but in my situation, because I have a center speaker right under the projector, I have the screen at 900mm from the floor, with the CHROMA being 250mm away from the back of the wall, which makes the screen 260mm higher than the projector. The distance I have the projector from the floor is 530mm. This is very important to get this right, so that you don't have to use any keystoning, which is something I feel should be avoided at all costs to avoid light bleed and resolution loss. You can also use the feet adjustment options to get it leveled properly so that the image doesn't shift and to have it wider at the bottom or the top, but to get it perfectly within the screen's frame. The dimensions of the CHROMA are 540mm wide by 380mm deep and 110mm high. Now, the OS of the CHROMA is still based on Android TV, but has been completely rebuilt from the ground up for the CHROMA, including the App Store. So once you have it aligned, the next step is the focus adjustments, which you have a grid in each corner of the screen so that you can press the left and right arrows on the remote until it's in focus, which is really nice. You can also set up the default HDMI input, which I have set to HDMI 3 as it supports CEC, and I have the CHROMA connected to my Yamaha RX V4A receiver so that I can control it with turning it on and off through my receiver and CEC, which is really convenient. There is also the ability to set up Wi-Fi so that you can get updates and also AirPlay through Android, so that is a handy feature as well. I'll go over image calibration in a moment as there is a lot there to discuss, but I'll quickly go over the remote control for this unit as it is a significant upgrade from the previous VAVA model. There is a built-in mouse pointer which is nice, but it can get annoying as well if you just want to use the button toggles, so to get rid of it you just have to shake the remote and it will go away. We have built-in Alexa support as well, which is nice, so you can set up some automation within the CHROMA using Alexa if you so desire. The only thing I wish is that it had some backlighting so that we can see it in the dark. At this point you are pretty much ready to either just use it with a streaming box or gaming console, but there is a lot more that you can do when it comes to image calibration. So I need to preface this overview by stating that this is a pre-production unit, so some of the features are not included at the time of this video, as well as some of the video improvements coming down the pipe with firmware updates, but I'll show you all the various options as well as my opinion on how I think the image looks. First of all, you can set the image mode according to some preset options. I will say that with HDR turned on, that I felt the image was a little oversaturated for my taste, but these options are good for those that don't want to tweak things manually, and once you go in you can fine tune them further. The same options are available for brightness, where you can choose a preset option or manually adjust it to suit your preferred look. Personally, I found that the projector needed to be turned down as it was very bright, and all of the questions and concerns I've seen about whether or not this projector is bright enough can be put to rest. To get nice black levels, I actually had to turn the brightness down, and fortunately there wasn't too much loss of fidelity with the image. I will be showing some demos later in the video of the performance under various lighting conditions. Where I noticed the biggest difference in image performance was with the HDR mode. With HDR turned on, there was an added vibrance to the image as well as a depth to the black levels. As you can see in the demo, with HDR turned on, there is just a bit of extra vividness to the color over the non-HDR mode. But what I will say is that I felt the color accuracy was a little better with HDR turned off and manually adjusting the options. I do know that there is more work being done by VAVA for the production version of this unit, so it will be improved further. But I see a lot of promise with the HDR mode on the Chroma and look forward to seeing the improvements coming. I couldn't see a way for the Chroma to detect incoming signals automatically for HDR content versus SDR content, even though there did seem to be an auto toggle, and simply disabling or enabling HDR mode made the picture look very different depending on which way you have the projector calibrated. At the time of filming, I don't have an answer yet from VAVA on whether there will be auto mapping for HDR and SDR signals and how the color profile is mapped for, say, Rec 709 or any profile lower than Rec 2020, or if Rec 2020 is applied to those lower profiles. If I get an answer after I publish the video, I will add it to the description of the video. Under image adjustments, there is also an option for chroma, which I believe is just another name for saturation, and we also have hue, which shifts the tint, and I didn't really get much of a good experience with that option and found that leaving it where it was at default would give the best experience. There is also an option to choose HDMI 1.4 or 2.0, and this projector supports both 50Hz and 60Hz. It doesn't support 120, so there is no 2.1 HDMI option. There is sadly no option for native 24 frames either, which is for cinematic content, but this is also the same for most ultra short throw projectors out there. I will also mention at this point that there is a 3D mode, but I didn't have any means of testing it out, and personally I'm not a huge fan of 3D. Next we have the audio presets, which honestly I'll say again, I use this with an external speaker setup, so it's very hard for me to be objective about the built-in speakers, but they are there and work for those that don't have a speaker setup, and this option allows you to change the presets of the way the audio sounds through the built-in speakers. They are Harman Kardon 60-watt speakers, so they do take quite a bit more power than other ultra short throw projector speakers I've seen, but again I will say about the audio that I wouldn't really be using this option personally. So let's take a look at how the Chroma performs under various lighting conditions. I have not modified the footage in any way other than with my standard conversion of log footage and a minor color grade, which is how I match all of my footage to make my videos, but each demo shown will have the exact same settings applied. I decided to use the Netflix trailer for Kate, which has a lot of dark scenes, because that is generally how you can see how the HDR performs. I actually watched the movie last night and it was enjoyable to watch on this setup. There is a lot of bright neon type lights as well, so the contrast in the colors and the brightness is easy to see. In my setup, the window is right next to the screen, so I have probably the worst possible situation when it comes to rejecting light, as light coming from the side is almost impossible to reject. But in the interest of full transparency, I'm showing you from the worst conditions to the best so that you can decide for yourself. So I have been asked a lot of questions about my experience with the Chroma, so I'll go through them as best as I can. So question 1 is about ALDP4. What is it and why is it better than ALDP3? So without getting too technical and going by the information available, Chroma is the only projector on the market right now that has ALDP4. It refers to the laser engine inside the projector. ALDP3 uses a single blue laser and a color wheel, whereas ALDP4 utilizes a triple laser of red, green and blue, which allows for a much wider color gamut, higher contrast ratios and greater color accuracy, which in turn makes a more vivid image. It also eliminates the need for a color wheel. That is all that I've been able to get from my research, so if anyone has any more information, please drop a comment down below. Okay, so the next question I see a lot is, where will the VAVA be sold? I've been told by VAVA that it will ship to Australia, the UK, all of Europe, the US, Canada and Japan, and it does include free shipping and no customs fees. I'll leave the link in the description so that you can check that out after this video. The campaign goes live on Monday the 13th at 7 AM Pacific time. However, you can get to the pre-launch page via the link in the description. There has also been an awesome inclusion from VAVA since I started making this video, and that is that they will include a free 100-inch or 120-inch screen for all orders within the first 24 hours. Pricing is $27.99 for the first 24 hours, followed by $28.99 for the duration of the campaign, at which time it will revert to the full recommended retail price of $46.99. The next question is, when will the pre-sales be shipped? So the mass production is scheduled for early October, and VAVA should be able to start shipping by the end of October. Early backers should receive their Chroma and the screen in November, and the good news is that VAVA will offer free international shipping to all backers. Also, all import taxes, customs fees, and everything will be prepaid by VAVA, so that's a pretty good deal in my opinion. The next question I've been asked several times is how noisy is the Chroma, especially compared to the older unit, and is there a whine? So I hooked up my calibration microphone and I did get some readings. They were between 34 decibels and 36 decibels from about 1 foot away, and that included ambient noise. I can say that with the Chroma I don't hear any high-pitched whine at all, and that the unit is very quiet when it was running in low brightness mode. But even with nothing playing and no other sound in the room, I could hear the fans, but they were very quiet. And as I mentioned, there was zero high-pitched whine, and I was straining to see if I could hear it. Next question is, how is it for gaming? Well, as mentioned in my previous video, there is going to be a lower latency mode coming under 50 milliseconds, and that will be while maintaining a 4K image, not downsampling to 1080p. Personally, I'm a PC gamer, so anything over 1 millisecond seems like a lot to me. But for console gamers who want to play casually, an under 50 millisecond lag time should be okay for car racing sims and adventure games. My son enjoyed playing Fortnite on the big screen. He didn't seem too bothered by the latency issues, and that is with the pre-production unit not even having that option available. I think the games that I saw on the Chroma looked phenomenal, very colourful and vivid. So I've been using and testing the VAVA Chroma for about 2 weeks now, so I have a pretty good idea of how it performs in my setup. First up, the colours are very vivid and vibrant, sometimes even too colourful that I have to down tune them. This isn't a bad thing, but my personal taste is for a less saturated image. The contrast is very good, especially in HDR mode. For those wondering whether it's an upgrade from the VAVA original, I can say that it is not the same as the original in many ways. From the interface and the OS to the actual image produced, the Chroma is a very different beast. I can't really say whether or not you should upgrade. That has to be a personal choice. But if I had to choose right now between the VAVA Chroma and the VAVA original, I would certainly pick the Chroma. I will likely be sending this unit back, but I am hanging on to it for a little while so that I can make some more videos on it, as well as test out the new features when they become available. So stay tuned for more Chroma content as these updates become available. If there is enough interest, I may do a comparison video later, so let me know down in the comments if that's something that would interest you. But that's probably the main thing that I noticed, was the vividness and the richness in the colors, especially in HDR mode. I think if you're looking to get one, the price in the first 24 hours is really tempting at $27.99, as well as you get a free screen with it, which is pretty cool. And again, I'll have links in the description for the campaign. I still think that this setup is best in a darker or light controlled room. I can't say that it was watchable in full light coming from the side, because unfortunately for me, I have big windows less than 1 meter away from the side of the screen, and sideways light is almost impossible to reject. But with the shutters closed and also in the evening, the picture quality is outstanding and certainly an experience I am very happy to have in my setup. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and that you found it helpful. If you did, smash that like button for me and consider subscribing for more content like this. Let me know whether or not you're planning on ordering a VAVA Chroma, or if you're not, and why. I'll have links in the description to where you can buy the Chroma and also the screen, so check them out down below if you're interested. I'd also like to thank VAVA for sending me the review sample so that I could make this video, as well as for the team behind the scenes answering all of my questions so that I could get as much information together for you guys. I'd like to thank you all for watching, but that's it for this one. You'll catch me in the next one. Bye for now.